got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computer Studio now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour or so, along with Miss Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Spence is back.
Good morning. It's so good to be tuned.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. When did you get back, Spence?
I got back on, I don't remember. I don't remember. Thursday afternoon. I was up for 36 hours flying home.
Dang.
Yeah, I had a 2:00 in the morning flight out of Fairbanks to Seattle, and then Seattle to Raleigh. Got in at 5 in the afternoon.
Wow. How was it? What was
Good.
the
I
last
mean, I
one?
was there to work. I
Yeah.
didn't. I had good that I had some social interaction with my friends, but I was primarily there to work for 15 days. So I did. I worked. Helped them
Nice.
out. They were shorthanded with at the end of the season, the drivers.
Yeah.
So there were several other people that also got called and came in, which was nice to see them. So, but it was good.
Good.
Didn't lose anybody. Didn't hit anything. Got to the places I was supposed to be on time. So
Nice.
So, what's happening tech-wise that anybody wants to bring up?
Well, there's a bunch of technologies that blew up on some people.
Oh, the
really,
pagers?
Hey,
didn't
do I have a pager for you?
I didn't even know they were still using
oh
pagers.
yeah. Well, what
Yeah,
about the
well, the
solar
reason
panels?
they were using let's
Yeah. Okay.
I think everybody's up to speed, but still, right?
Oh yeah.
Um uh and I wanna emphasize, I'm not gloating here. It's just a very, very intriguing piece of tech story in a way. So it's no secret Israel is at war at the north with Hezbollah, at the south with Hamas,
Hamas.
and on the Hezbollah front, there was a very interesting tactic used where they were a supplier for the Hezbollah's communication, basically provided them with devices which had explosives embedded in them, and they were triggered synchronously, right, at a certain point, hurting a huge amount of people, of people within the network, right? Specific people across their network. Those devices, beepers, and communication devices, walkie-talkie, basically, right?
Walkie-talkies, yeah.
Yeah, walkie-talkies. Two phases. Very interesting. Very interesting. There's still a lot being unveiled. I've heard some journalists going through finding the straw company that did the middleman work with the Hezbollah. Obviously, everybody there disappeared or are just bios from LinkedIn of people who are clueless that their identity has been used. And so, yeah, so there's this sort of James Bondian Hollywood type scene unfolding in real life, which is very interesting to track, to try to find the story behind it.
So
It's who's Q? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
so did somebody you said they put explosives into the pagers?
The-
or did
the
they like? Because I mean I didn't really read it or watch anything, but it was when I first saw it, I thought they found a way to just remotely blow up electronic devices.
No, that doesn't exist.
well
Okay,
they
because I was like,
they
what?
they what I one I read recently says that they somehow created batteries that had explosives as part of the chemical makeup of the battery. And the trick to do it was to overheat the battery and it would explode. So,
Right. So, but you had
yeah,
to embed material that
yes,
would explode, right?
yeah,
And then you have a trigger. It's not it wouldn't be have been triggered accidentally. That's the thing, right?
yeah,
It's also important that it wouldn't be triggered
yeah.
accidentally. Um, but yeah, it's a very interesting uh, approach, uh, very intelligence intensive approach. I have no idea how one would even come up with the idea of doing it and how you would execute it without being detected until the right moment, right? Because it can't be it can't be a 24-hour thing. It's a very, very long con over here, right? So
Did you see
So
uh
the statement from ICOM? ICOM was the provider of the walkie-talkies. They said they
yeah,
haven't manufactured.
Taiwanese
Yeah,
manufacturers,
they
right? Yeah.
haven't produced that in over 10 years. So it wasn't a current model. So they were, because people going after them to say you're walkie-talkies. So wait a second,
Yeah.
we haven't made these in 10 years. And
Yeah.
the person the company that was doing it was a licensee that was still using that technology. It
Right.
wasn't us.
And the
Yeah.
company, so so the company who did the sale, right? That was a Hungarian company, something like
Hmm.
that they're tracking, and that company doesn't exist. It's like it literally is a phantom. Uh, the addresses, they do not match to anything. They match to some. They're like two location. One of the location is an office building. That office building, I've never heard of about them. It's very, very interesting. Very, very weird. Um, so um, so yeah, there's that. So that definitely put the fear of technology
Yeah.
into that organization at this point for sure, because they can't trust anything that they get right now, which is good to Israel, I guess, at this point. But nobody says that this can't happen right the other way around eventually. It'll be interesting to see if this method will ever be used at other organizations, like let's say a cartel in the South America or something. Very, very
It puts the
bizarre one.
fear in a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
But the whole,
Now the reason they're using beepers, and that's an
yeah,
important
that's what I was going to mention. Yeah.
yeah, the reason they're using beepers is because of that technology relies on very, very limited bandwidth, right? It doesn't require a lot of bandwidth. There's no location tracking through it because it only receives. So it's very effective in not being tracked, except when you get something that can be triggered, it can still, by design, it's triggered remotely, right? By a radio frequency telling it what information to display on the screen. And so, yeah. And so at this point, uh, uh, they can't even trust this old network for them, which is
And
That
they
strange.
was
tossed out the phones because the phones could be used for tracking
yep.
Yes.
and abandoned that for security. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some time ago they were saying that they were giving instructions to get rid of the phones because
Yeah.
Israel found a way how to zero in
Tracking.
on
Yeah.
the people that they want to zero in, and they say, "Yeah, you need to get rid of the phones."
And I think in the past, like Israel has been doing targeted um, they're not drone strikes,
Yeah,
basically, right? Um, way back, you probably using stuff like that, like the way they can identify where a specific person is
right.
and target them, right? And yeah, and this was an interesting approach just because of the fact I wonder if they will know today how to detect whether those batteries
They'll
are
find a
affected
different
or
way of
not.
doing it.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, what about bomb sniffing dogs? I mean, they could be. I guess they could be trained to smell the stuff.
Maybe. I
No, not if it
doubt in
was.
this case. Yeah, I
Yeah, not
doubt
if
they,
in
it
this.
was in the battery.
but they said that it's not Semtex. It's something even newer than that called PMEX or something. I remember seeing a story. I have to look up what it was, but they did identify the explosive type
Mhm.
from, and they could look at it after the fact. And but it's something that is
Yeah, I doubt it.
resistant to detection.
I
Yeah.
doubt it can be used again, right? I doubt the Hezbollah specifically will be hit again with something like this. They're while they're an enemy of Israel and all that, they have been resilient. They're a very smart organization. They've been building themselves very effectively. They're a very effective foe. They're not. They're much less prone to. Uh,
They're not Hamas. Let's put it this
no,
way.
well, Hamas is resilient, right? But
Eh,
Hamas is the brutality of Hamas is what leads them more than their smarts at this point. The Hamas is ISIS, right?
yeah.
It's more about being brutal. It's more about enforcing by force. Hezbollah is different. Hezbollah is a very worthy opponent in so many ways.
Yeah.
How bad it sounds. Yeah, they're not as sinister in just being anti-Zionist or whatever. It's their purpose is more than just military. It's a lot more complex there. So yeah.
And they're a proxy of Iran.
Well, yeah, Iran funds them,
Yeah.
but so here's the main difference. Let's say by
Mm.
between Hamas and
I,
Hezbollah,
I think
and
I think we're
that's the last thing I'm going to say,
all right.
and it's that Hezbollah, while they're funded by Iran, they're not fully controlled by Iran. Hamas is fully controlled by Iran
Yeah.
at this point. So yeah, but
All
yeah,
right.
so very interesting tech uh,
Yeah.
mixing with the current war and politics stuff. Um, yeah, just a bizarre scene, and I'm glad that I can watch it from afar because what's going on in
Yeah.
Israel right now is nuts.
It's not fun.
No,
No.
It's
Families is
terrifying.
they're yeah, families are in their sheltered areas a few times a day now and stuff like that. So
I was part of getting familiar with this over the last few months was understanding that everywhere you go, and especially in certain areas of Israel, they have these portable bomb shelters that are set up. There are kits you can actually supposedly put together to make a bomb shelter. Is that true?
I
I
have
saw
never
not
heard of that.
something that I've known. I mean, there might be reinforced areas that were makeshift, but I don't think portable is the right
well, they
definition.
were something you could assemble basically from a kit.
Could be,
Yeah.
maybe. But remember, when you're talking about some sort of protection from explosive, especially rockets, then it usually needs to be very, very heavy concrete. Like there's
Heavy,
no
and
other.
you should, if
Yeah.
it's
So
portable
Yeah.
to assemble,
Well,
it's
this
gonna
maybe
it.
something on trucks, maybe.
it wouldn't protect you necessarily from a very close hit, but it could protect you from flying shrapnel and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could
So
be.
yeah, I'm going to look it up because it was
Oh,
interesting.
I'll tell you what the
and
most absurd thing is. Life goes on
yeah,
in a way. Like there's a routine. It's just there's this buzz in the background that something just might go off any moment. Very, very bizarre
Look at
state of living.
London during the Blitz.
Yep.
When
Yep.
when they perfected the V2 rocket, they had no idea it was coming in. This would just be there. Not with the buzz bombs, they could track them and they knew they were coming, and they figured out a way to deal with them. But the V2 rockets would just blow a whole neighborhood to hell. And during the day, usually they expected these things to come at night. but the British are incredible. I mean, in fact, what they did back then was amazing.
All right. Here is another technology that is being developed and almost ready to go. Visa said it plans to launch a dedicated service for bank transfers, skipping credit card and the traditional direct debit process. Visa, which alongside MasterCard is one of the world's largest card networks, said that it planned to launch a dedicated service for account to account payments in Europe next year. Users will be able to set up direct debits, transactions that take funds directly from your bank account on merchants' e commerce stores with just a few clicks. Visa said consumers will be able to monitor these payments more easily and raise any issues by clicking a button in their banking app, giving them a similar level of protection to when they use their cards.
Basically, Zelle for Europe.
Well, I don't know why Zelle got such a bad rap, though. There's something wrong with
Oh,
Zelle.
there's nothing wrong with Zelle. It's just being targeted by scammers. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. Zelle isn't the problem, right? It's
right.
it used to be PayPal. It used to be that. It's just yeah. It's
That was
the
interesting because it was developed by a consortium of banks.
Yeah,
It didn't come out of an entrepreneur creating an app like PayPal and all that.
right.
The
It was
banks the banks
well, it
developed it.
was their
Yeah,
response,
yeah,
right, to
yeah,
PayPal and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I ran across a situation with transferring money or paying last week. I I had to order a transmission for Hannah's car,
Oh boy.
and you look around and locally, forget it. They're high mileage, high dollar. So I started looking and looking and looking and found a place in Florida, which was more reasonable, let's put it this way, than the others. And talked with two people over there. Very nice and everything, but the thing that was didn't sound right. The payment method that they wanted was um oh shoot S
Bitcoin?
no SH what am I trying to say? SHA no S
ACH,
ACH.
AC. Yeah, the direct
Yeah,
bank deposit. Yeah.
right. With ACH though, once you send the money, that's it. You cannot say, hey, I don't like it and put a stop on it like with a check or with
Yeah.
a credit card and all that. Um I started looking into it some more and there were other discrepancies. Um Too many websites, too many different phone numbers, too many owners. I said, you know what? Nah. And I'm glad I did because I found something even better with a company that accepts credit card and 71,000 miles on the transmission. It's unbelievable. And
So you,
I did
so
it.
you didn't just buy a kit and rebuild it yourself?
No. So this is interesting here how, transfer money, but you will have the similar level of protection as if you use a credit card.
But
So,
here's the thing. So we get the protection from the credit card, right? Because of the fees that they charge,
mhm,
right? The reason people use Zelle, the reason people use friend to friend transaction with PayPal,
huh,
right, is
Cash
is
out.
to
because they
avoid.
do not want to pay those fees,
Yeah.
right? So all I'm hearing is Visa, which up until now made their money just by charging for those transactions, right, are just going to come up with another way, just one that is not 3 days away from the account, but same day
Mhm.
account to account transfer. But I'm guessing they're still going to charge a fee.
Oh, I'm sure
So
they will.
they're just entering this. They're not creating like a new paradigm here.
They creating a
Zelle
new
does
method.
not charge, right? And
I don't
any
know.
side, as
Spence, you use
far
Zelle,
as I
right?
know.
I do. But
Do
Yeah, I've
they?
I,
sent a couple of times.
I personally like the idea behind Google Pay and Apple Pay because every transaction is a virtual card. It's going to only be used once. And so it takes it from your credit. Like PayPal is obviously a
Yeah.
front for your credit card or your bank account.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not set up with a bank account on PayPal. I just have a credit card there. So I can pay. It's easier for me to pay that way because
Right.
I
So
pay
you
with
can't.
PayPal. It pops up my login and I pay. So,
Right. So you can't transfer money to me because then you'll need to pay
right.
a fee, a
Right.
transaction fee.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
until just recently, that worked fine for me because as a company, I would accept payments all the time. Zelle, Pay. I don't have PayPal set up. I couldn't do that, but I had Zelle, Cash App. Um, what's the other one? Venmo. I had all those working, but all I needed was to register a debit card as a way in. I didn't have to give them my bank account number. But I had an issue recently where a company, an outfit that was a commercial account, tried to put money into my Zelle account, and Zelle said you can't pay. A company can't pay an individual that has configured with a debit card. So I couldn't. They had to send me a check. It's kind of
talking.
weird.
So Zelle is only for personal use, basically. That's what you're saying.
No, they're saying that as a commercial Zelle account cannot send money to a personal Zelle account that was created with a debit card. It has to be created
Oh.
with a bank account number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe it's to give them a better path for the business to.
That other company said that another way to pay them was a direct wire transfer. And I went to the bank to set up. I went to make a deposit, and I said, how do I do ACH or how do I do direct? Because I never do this. And he said, well, direct transfer for a commercial account, the fee is $100.
Oh,
That's with First Citizens. For ACH, it's $3.
Still steep.
A what?
It's still a lot.
Well, but I said I would be willing to pay that vendor with a credit card, and I will pay the fee, and it'll be cheaper than $100.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous the way that is. Thank God I don't need to do that on a regular basis. So
It was interesting in New Zealand
yeah,
buying stuff with a credit card. The majority of people that you would buy from had a sign up to say this includes a 2 or 3% fee to
Yeah.
use your credit card, which is fair. I mean,
I see that
I'm not
everywhere
saying
around
it's
well,
here.
wrong.
that's how it used to be here at gas stations.
Used to be. That's how it is normally. Every restaurant I go to, they have a sign that say they charge an extra 2-3%.
Oh no, I mean it's actually I don't think it's legal.
Oh well, everywhere I go to now,
They
there's
at the
signs.
gas stations they did not say that we charge you more. They say charge price or cash price.
No,
It was
now
not something that they say because I don't think you can charge those
well,
those
something must
fees.
have changed because
Yeah,
literally especially at food places, they say that
interesting.
there's a service fee.
Huh? Maybe something changed. Well, all right. So who did not hear about dating apps?
What do you mean?
Dating
I've heard
dating
I've
apps.
used dating apps before.
So this is an interesting take on it. With online dating apps, Americans have increasingly been marrying someone more like themselves. This is coming from Bloomberg. Um, that says this accounts for roughly half of the rise in household income inequality between 1980 and 2020.
Like
Eh,
themselves financially, you mean?
yeah. Well,
Demographically.
like themselves, and of course, if they, no, they're not looking for financially, but they're looking for somebody that they would want to be with. But if it's like them, it's gonna be also financially, but it's only half, so it makes sense that it'll fall like that.
I guess I'm confused
But
by that
what were
statement. What does
yeah,
that mean? Like how? Like personality,
I
interests?
exactly.
if a person, it's okay when online dating quickly became prevalent, the economists found that women became slightly more selective when choosing partners based on age, while men became slightly more selective based on education. So that by itself that plays into financial. But when the researchers compared that with data on married couples from 1960 and 1980, they found that people in the recent period increasingly went for partners with the same wage and education level.
Well, that makes sense. I think
That's
this is one of those things where the data doesn't necessarily mean there's causation with correlation here
Exactly.
because people nowadays are more educated. The education is more accessible
right.
from online, and a lot of laws and regulations have been put in place to help women get in the workforce, especially in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and like equality across the board. So naturally, it's going to be different. You're talking about a 50-year span. Like, of
Yeah.
course, things are going to be different,
Yeah.
and so
It
it's
sounds
hard
like
to.
equality is more at play here than the system.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't attribute that to dating app. I would say with the dating app, the thing that makes it into the equation is that you can filter. So when you put in your profile, and you're looking for somebody else, maybe you're like, okay, well, I want this, that, and another thing, and then you can filter the results, and therefore, if you filter the results, you're going to be talking to people that fall underneath those categories. So of course, statistically, you're probably going to get married to them or date them or whatever. It's so I think this data is a little weird,
Well,
The
or
I'd
not
say
weird,
presentation,
but like
yeah,
yeah,
the conclusion it's trying to achieve is seems like a wrong left turn.
yeah, it's a
Like,
stretch.
yeah,
And it's I don't think it's from now what you said is accurate where um yeah people like what you said about the dating app where guys are going after this specifically and women are looking for that specifically. Now
yeah.
that's relevant in the dating app sphere. The other stuff, I mean, you can meet somebody at the bar and they're probably going to have a similar
right.
like interest that you have, and that doesn't have anything to do with the dating apps.
I think I'll say one thing. I think the dating apps, one of the things they've changed tremendously is it has created, compared to before, it has created the grounds where both people are actively looking
Yeah.
and both people are actively finding something, right? Uh, that didn't necessarily happen before. Before, there were a lot of etiquettes that would either be work or not work or whatever. And one of the things dating app did, I think, it made dating a lot safer,
Yeah.
right? In a way, because both people are consenting to meet, both people are consenting to do that step forward. Something that was murky at best before. So it has it definitely weeded out a lot of uh, disparity between like the dynamics between the two people in the situation have completely changed. So that is for sure an effect. The demographics, though, I feel that's a very long stretch, or it's based unless they can show like a huge change and not just gradient levels of change, I feel like there's a complete misreading of the subject here.
Okay,
Somehow it
but
feels
but
wrong.
but I
Now
did not
my
try.
experience is secondhand, right? Uh, Dating apps came out to the scene way after I've been in the dating scene, but I've been tracking it and I've been looking at it, especially as my son, right? It's his life around that, and I've seen him interact with it. So yeah, something feels off
Okay,
in that interpretation.
all right. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading these
No,
stories.
no, no. I'm
Okay,
not shooting
Katie.
you. I'm shooting the guy who wrote it.
Yeah, no, I'm shooting the
Was it written
reporter.
by a guy?
Well, I don't know if it's by a guy.
The byline, like the name of the byline, is that like a male name or a female name?
There isn't.
Oh, well
Okay,
then
so
I
AI. We
definitely
don't
I do.
care.
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely and they lost credibility if it's not a person's
Yeah.
name on there.
All right. The House Energy and Commerce Committee has approved the AM for Every Vehicle Act, which
Oh,
mandates that automakers include AM radios in each vehicles in new vehicles without additional charges. The Verge reports. There, you see, this is from The Verge, but no man or woman, I don't know. The
well,
bill
you're
passed.
taking it from Slashdot, right?
This is from Slashdot.
So yeah, Slashdot won't have the byline. You need to go to the
Yeah.
article on the Verge to see the.
The
Yeah.
bill
Okay.
passed the committee on roll call votes of 45-2.
We were talking about this
Yes, we
Yeah,
were
last
it was
year.
talking.
Ford,
Yep,
right? Ford were trying to get rid of the AM
Yeah,
radios.
I
yep,
was gonna say.
yep.
I wonder. Now I have a feeling, right,
That
that Ford, this is like the result that they wanted. Like that's my feeling. Like they had like, okay, we can't we can't make money out of these AMs at this point, right? Let's say we're taking them off, then there'd be a law where it's a mandatory thing, and now we'll start upcharging everything just because we now need to deal with
uh,
this hard issue and get funds.
okay. I hate to do this, but I'm going to take us back to batteries.
Okay.
American battery
Wait. Are they exploding?
well, not yet. American battery technology and lithium producer Albemarle are among 25 companies getting more than $3 billion in funding from the administration to boost domestic production of advanced batteries and components.
Man, I want
The funding,
$3 billion.
part of a broad White House goal of creating an American battery supply chain, is going to projects that are building, expanding, or retrofitting facilities to process critical minerals, build components and batteries, and recycle batteries.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now,
But
if that,
understandable, right?
it's what?
Understandable.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of sense.
Yep. We gotta have it. You can, and especially now, where do you go? You're gonna go and buy batteries from some Hungarian company to put into.
I mean, talk about conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
Uh, People, right, with Trump quoting the fake news
Yeah.
about the dog eating
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh,
right?
that's gotten so
Talk
viral.
about this what this exploding beepers batteries will happen with Chinese batteries now and stuff like that. Like it's if you want a narrative of fear mongering, you don't need the truth, right? You just need to make up a plausible story. So now every foreign thing will be suspicious.
Well,
You just need to make a catchy song because his speech got turned into a song, a viral meme song, and so that's on
Yeah.
all the videos now.
interesting.
Yeah, I heard. I encountered a plea of stop the memes because they're causing uh uh more fear in the immigrant Haitian community where we talked. Where was it? Oklahoma, Ohio? I don't remember.
No,
Uh,
Springfield, Ohio,
Springfield, Ohio, right?
because it says in the song in
Yeah,
Springfield, Ohio.
and they're literally being targeted right now, right? They have like they fear going out in public just because of that, even though it's a joke on everybody's lip at this point and nobody believes it,
Right.
right? It still does create the effect of fear. So yeah,
Mm.
terrible.
Now, IBM has been laying off a substantial number of employees this past week, and is trying
Hence
to,
they fired you.
huh?
IBM fired you again.
Yeah, and they're trying
You're
to
muted.
keep it quiet.
They took my pension.
Quiet.
Quiet. Yeah, they're not talking about it. You know, this
So they
is
didn't issue a news. Oh, we're firing people, so
Well, this
that means it's quiet.
well,
well,
North Carolina law says if they lay off more than a certain number of people, they have to file it with the state.
Ah, I
So
see.
that's public. So
one IBM employee told the Register that IBM Cloud experienced a massive layoff in the past few days that affected thousands of people. Unlike traditional layoffs, this one was done in secret. The insider said that my manager told me that they were required to sign an NDA
oh
not to
boy.
talk about the specifics.
I was about to say, how do they keep it secret?
Well,
An NDA will do it.
I mean, look, I think they
They're a
can
public
because
company.
what?
They're a public company, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, this is
So
the
how can
marketing
they?
people. This is the marketing people tell them you can't, because if that means that anybody that was you now they have they have a cloud product that you can buy, and they also have a cloud service.
Mhm.
So apparently the cloud service is not doing well, and so now if word gets out that you're laying all these people off, if you're using the cloud service, you're going to shop around for another one.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah. So it's and they do have sort of like a way to force people not to talk about it because I'm sure. How long do you have to be with IBM before you get
Severance?
yeah
no,
that or
that's state law. That's but IBM doesn't have a
how about a pension?
formal pension plan anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that's how
Pretty
they.
much. I mean, I don't think there may be some people that are still working there that were on the traditional pension, but I thought they did away with that and did lump sum payouts to most people.
Okay.
I still have what IBM did recently in the last year was they sold their pension to a annuity company that now that's where I get my pension check from. It's not from IBM anymore. IBM doesn't manage the pension.
Researchers still don't know the cause of a recently discovered malware infection affecting almost 1.3 million streaming devices running an open source version of Android in almost 200 countries. Security firm Dr. Web reported Thursday that malware named Android.vo1d has backdoored the Android based boxes by putting malicious components in their system storage area where they can be updated with additional malware at any time by command and control servers. Google representatives said the infection devices are running operating system based on the Android open source project, a version overseen by Google but distinct from Android TV, a proprietary version restricted to licensed device makers. So, again, who knows where those boxes were made? And somebody found a way. Hey,
Well, the real question is if it's somebody found a way or it's the manufacturer in the first place.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. But why would they? Why would they do it to their own devices, so to speak? I mean, it's
They're talking about all devices, right? So it might have been a long haul of. The real question is what's the purpose of whoever who gets control over that? Do
I
they
mean,
get network access, right, to wherever they're connected? If so, then that's interesting, right?
yeah, and I don't know why they specifying that it's an open source version.
Well, AOSP, Android Open Source Project.
Yeah.
So Android starts at AOSP, okay? That's where the open development of it happens. And then Google takes that and packages that with Google services and its branding and all of that, and that becomes the Google Android experience,
Oh,
right?
okay. So this
So
is just
AOSP is just the upstream project. It's like Chrome, right? Chrome starts with Chromium, which is the open source project, and then Google packs it into Google Chrome, right? And gives you auto updates and gives you and they track the internal tracking is directly to Google and all of that. And then somebody else, I don't know, Brave, right, takes the part of the development from Chromium that interests them and packages them to their browser, etc., etc., etc. So AOSP is just the main project where major development is happening. The open side of the development is happening.
okay. All right. Apple has had a lot of updates last week, and it says that Apple latest Mac OS 15 Sequoia update released earlier last week has disrupted security tools from major providers, including CrowdStrike, Sentinel-1, and Microsoft, according to reports. The extent and cause of the disruption remain unclear. Too many things are unclear. We don't know how it happened.
Yeah, this don't know how it happened just means something happened. We're still looking into it.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's not a news article yet, right? Because it just might be we just blocked malware detection from doing stuff that they shouldn't, as well as malware shouldn't, right? Stuff
Right,
like
of
that.
course.
So come on,
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
Doesn't
but
sound like news yet.
Disney
Oh,
plans.
can I say one
Oh,
thing about
yeah,
Apple with
yeah.
what announced recently? They
Yeah.
announced that the AirPod Pro Release 2 has approval from the FDA to be sold as a hearing aid.
Oh, yeah, we talked about
Oh
it
yeah,
last
You
we
week.
did?
talked
Oh,
about it
good.
last
Okay.
week. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
That's
I actually
amazing.
ordered a pair so I could do that because
Yeah.
I have the behind the ear kind, and when I'm with my glasses on, it really gives me a headache sometimes from when it sits against my ear. So I'm going to try that.
And it's a lot, and what it does is just like the expensive ones.
It
As
has
far,
frequency programming.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's cheap.
$199.
Yeah, that we're
Yeah.
two
I
for.
wonder
So
if you
this,
could buy them with FSA. No, like the fact that they get
maybe.
the approval from the FDA
Yeah, true.
might make it that
You're-
those who need hearing aid might be able to buy it with
Well,
like medical money.
From
Yeah.
what I read, they went the path of because over the counter hearing aids can be sold now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a lot cheaper, but they don't necessarily have the functions of the more expensive
Right.
one. That was the deal they made with the
And
the
they
high-end
have
hearing aid makers.
to do something to update your phone.
Yeah, well, it's a firmware update for the
Yeah,
pods, and
right.
it's an app on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
maybe what they're going to do is they're going to charge the $3,000 on that upgrade.
First time I bought hearing aids, they said, well, I said, this is the one I want. And they showed me a schedule at 5 different prices, depending on what software I wanted. And it went from like
Wow.
$3,000 to $7,000. It was insane. That's why Costco is so good, because they only sell premium software. There really are no versions of it.
Yeah, interesting.
No,
What'd you say?
I said nuts.
What? AMD has introduced variable graphics memory, VGM, for its AI 300 Strix Point laptops, allowing users to convert up to 75% of their system memory into dedicated VRAM via the AMD Adrenaline app, enhancing gaming performance for titles requiring more VRAM. A long
That can
time
save you.
ago, that's
If that
how
can
it.
save you from having to buy a new video card, that's great.
Well, you don't buy a new video card on laptops.
Oh, that's right. That makes it even better.
Wait a second. Yeah, laptops. There was. I remember years ago. You would go. You would, let's say you have four meg of RAM on the PC, and you could go to the BIOS and say, I want to give my video another meg or another 2 megs. So it'll be for the video, and you will be working with two. I mean, yeah, we're talking meg, not gig. So
Actually, I
that's.
think the place where this is interesting, and maybe that's why this line of cards is also called AI, is in AI processing,
Mhm. Yeah,
where
where you need
you
it.
want, yeah,
Yeah.
well, you want the GPU to do intensive work. I wonder if it's on the fly or it's per process. Like what type? Yeah, that might that might be very interesting. I agree.
I
Yeah.
think you would have to go in and say, I want that much. I would
Well, I
think. I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
the application, right? It's on the application level.
Yeah.
That's
I
my guess. So if it's on the application level, if the application can require that much, yeah,
I don't know.
very interesting. Very
Disney
interesting.
plans to transition away from using Slack as its company-wide collaboration tool after a hacking group leaked over a terabyte of data from the platform. Many teams at Disney have already begun moving to other enterprise wide tools, with the
Mhm.
full transition expected later this year.
I wonder
I,
if l- uh, I I assume they're moving to Teams, which is
uh,
the other large player there, and I wonder if it's just Microsoft who hacked them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems like every time you hear about Slack, is somebody have something bad to say about it.
I mean,
I don't know.
how much can you praise a tool that works for you, right? You praise it one time. When you make the purchase, when you decide that this is yours, you say, yeah, it's a great tool, right? Uh, and then the next time you'll hear about it is when something bad
So,
happens.
yeah.
It's used. I don't know if their sales are up or are down or not. It's it's an okay tool. I used it for a year in a company I worked with.
Hmm.
It's an okay tool. It's not better or worse than Team, though. Those are those who say Teams is cancer and Slack is so much better. They're the same. They're the same.
All right.
So
All right.
yeah, they're all the same. They make uh they make communicating
Yeah.
work, and
That's what
that's it.
they are. They're communication, collaboration.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
I don't have anything new.
Yes, you do. You always have new stuff that that they just finished printing.
Oh, that's true. I do have a new product, but it's a demon hands jewelry holder, so you can put rings on the fingers and stuff. But as far as technology, I don't have anything new.
Ah, that's technology,
Uh,
yeah.
I you need to add. We talked about it, I think, in the con. You need to add like a fairy, something soft, not something scary
Yeah,
to your
yeah,
repertoire, to your
I
stuff.
agree. But my audience, so yes to fairies, but also it's Halloween time. So maybe that's next year's fairy stuff.
Maybe.
But yeah, I agree.
Well, for
Nobody,
That's been
Halloween,
a
you can add
request.
pilgrimage.
nobody
Yeah.
said that you should stop doing what you're doing for Halloween.
No, I know, but I'm only one person. So each time I add something new, the work becomes exponentially more that I
All
have to
right.
do.
Uh,
So I have to pick and choose and focus on one thing, or else I'm gonna
understood.
get burnt out. I'm working 2 jobs here.
Understood.
What, just two?
Yeah, right.
Spence, anything you have to add here?
No, I've been kind of isolated for a while although I've been trying to keep up with stories, I've been traveling a lot. So limited in that respect.
All right. Well, then I
Although
guess
I can say something about an informal survey I did.
go for it.
One of the attractions that I take people to involves getting people on a train that goes into, you remember that, Kyle?
Yeah.
Did you take that to the Gold Dredge? You didn't come up to Fairbanks, that's right.
No, we
But
didn't get to Fairbanks. Yeah.
it's called the Gold Dredge, and you'd ride a train, in a historic train. But before they go, one thing we do is after they get in the train, being talked to, we say, "Does anybody want a picture?" So people hand me their phone. So a bunch of us walk down the line, they take pictures of people sitting there. 99% of the phones, and this is a demographic that's like 40 to 70, 99% of the phones were Apple phones.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah,
very
that's
not a study or anything like that, but just my observation because I can always tell. When they give me an Android phone, it's not that it's hard to use, it's just different, and I can tell. And a lot of people have up to date, pretty recent phones. So I'm saying that people are buying them, and a lot of Apple Watches too. I noticed people had,
Huh.
and my age group. So
All right. And you ask people, or you were just looking at
no,
their
I just looked. And you could tell right away what kind of watch people have. Yeah.
Really?
So yep. And I asked them how much money do you make a year? How when you're going to retire? Do you have any good
Spence, I hear you.
investments? How many grandkids do you have? What are their names?
I hear what you're saying, but this sounds like discriminatory.
It is.
Yeah, I
It is
know.
actually.
Yeah, this is very
But
discriminatory what you did. It's
but you have to
unethical.
load. You have to load the demographics to make it mean anything. To say,
No, I
well,
agree.
what's their income strata? That.
Well, let's put it this way: they are on a cruise in Alaska, right? That puts them in a specific demographic already.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But occasionally you do get
True.
somebody who is a farmer.
Yeah, who
From
saved
Iowa.
his entire life or something for this
Saved an
moment.
entire
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
and that's where part of our job is that what you go out every morning to do is try to make their vacation special by doing the things that they to make them feel good about it. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
So it is rewarding, and then you once in a while run it. I had a group that I just transferred from one location to another, and I just happened to click very well with this group people at the end of their tour. So we get to the end of the tour, they're getting off, and they're expressing how much they like this. One guy comes over to me. She didn't want to say this, but this woman, but she wants to marry you. So I'm like, okay. I said, I'm happily married for 47 years. I'm not available, but thank you very much.
Yeah, well, Spence, she doesn't go out much.
That's probably true.
Oh.
No, that's good.
All right. Well, then let's finish today's episode. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal. And again, welcome back, Spence.
Oh, I'm not.
Yes.
On the outro, you say update your antivirus, except if it's a Mac.
No, today you have to have even on a Mac.
No,
Okay.
no, because of the news article that broke all of the security.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, unless it's a Mac, and change same passwords where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick is. Oh, shoot, I don't remember the station. Never mind.
Next week.
What'd you say?
Next week.
Yeah. 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection Podcast on Twitch. It jumps from day to day, but you can always go to infectionpodcast.com and find out when the live show is. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.